Hello everyone, welcome back to another Black Desert online video. Today I will be playing through the Drakania Succession and Awakening class questline. I hope you enjoy it.
I hear it, the familiar beating of two hearts. It's you, the dragon I've been looking for. What? You're not Drakania. I'm shocked. I expected a dragon, yet you bear the shard. Then, at least some part of you must be dragon. Someone pinch me. I can't believe you're standing before me. You know, of all the dragons I've researched, you're my favorite. Data about you? Let's see. Where are my notes? Filed under category Shadow of the Golden Mountain. Drakania, birthed from the eye of Markthanen, the malicious dragon. Her lightning scarred the lands, carving a path to restore their paradise. And yet, like celestial bodies falling from the sky, warriors of the Shere Khan descended upon Markthanen's dwelling and purged his seed. Wow. Ha ha ha. Well, apparently these records were authored by humans who may have fibbed some parts to quell the public's fear of dragons. Take it with a grain of salt. The dragon Libresca, scourge of all dragonkind. She devoured the hearts of her kin and thus reigned over the Golden Mountain. Time passed, and even after death saw an end to the tyrant Libresca's reign. Drakania hid from the 6 witches, keepers of the secrets of dragon slaying and the humans who revered them. Deep in the shadows of the Golden Mountain, unable to spread her wings, she tended to felled dragon souls. She plucked her own reverse scale and honed it into the weapon Shard, which absorbed the souls of felled dragons, storing them deep within her hearts. It was known as the Brimbolt Ritual. You don't seem to remember. Did you lose your memory? Fine. Since our encounter seems brought by fate, why don't we pay the universe back somehow? Here in Medaya are dragons who wait for your return. I shall teach you where to find them. For I too journeyed here to see them myself. In return, I only ask that you let me accompany you on your way.
The dragon Leon spoke of no longer graced this plane. Nay, it would seem it had barely even stepped foot into this world.
Truth be told, I'm here because, over at the Mountain of Eternal Winter, while investigating a place known as Erethea's Limbo, I stumbled across a tragic account. Then I found some creatures known as Eracanthus, who came into being after 4 dragons were slain by a witch and her human accomplices. Well, nothing could be done for the already felled dragons, but their precious eggs were sold off as treasures, scattered and dispersed across these lands. Without proper nurturing, these eggs could not be born. While the unborn dragon within the egg did not withstand the passage of time, its soul still cries out to be placed to rest and thus set free. You may have lost your memory, but I know you can do it. While the land you hail from no longer welcomes your kind. To others, you were a comforting presence. Use your shard to conduct the Brimbolt ritual yourself and embrace this soul. All right, now let's begin the ritual. I can't believe I'm seeing the Brimbolt ritual with my own eyes.
You absorb the tears of a slain dragon with your shard. You recall the memory of a wise dragon who nestled the egg in her bosom. The moment she died at the hands of the humans, slaves to the witch's guile, she kept singing a lullaby for her egg. I pray that my child survives and lives a long life, taking in the beauty of this world. Her final blessing witnessed in the eye of the wise dragon.
I can't believe I'm an eyewitness to such a historical moment. I swear until my dying breath that I shall remain dedicated to the study of dragons. Shall we move on? Let's see, where to next? It's the Main's hideout, and yet something feels a bit odd, don't you think? Despite being discarded like this, it's still a dragon's egg. You'd think it would have been treated with the care of a precious antique. Perhaps it was an act of compassion, and the culprit purposefully hid it out in the wilderness. According to my records, this egg belonged to a mighty dragon. Apparently, her might alone wasn't enough to save her offspring.
You absorb the tears of a slain dragon with your shard. You recall the memory of a mighty dragon who nestled the egg in her bosom. The moment she died at the hands of the humans, slaves to the witch's guile, she gave up her dignity and knelt before her captors. For my young one to see the light of this world, I'd tear off my wings, tail, and horn. Her final roar witnessed in the eye of the mighty dragon.
If these eggs had ever awakened, they would have undoubtedly rewritten the pages of history. She thought that was better than leaving her offspring to become an exclusive property of the humans as soon as it was born. Shall we move on to the next location, then? Next up is the Soldier's Cemetery. By the way, would you happen to know which dragon's blood flows through you? You've truly forgotten everything. I see. Not to worry. Once this task is complete, I shall return and figure out a way to help.
It's been a while looking for this. Dabbling in ancient texts of late made me think of you. Living whilst hidden in the shadows of the Golden Mountain, the dragon who tended to the souls of the felled dragons, Drakania. I'm curious, all of a sudden. Wish I could have seen you in your glory days. They say you raided battlefields with your shard, unleashing the wrath of the slain dragons. You spoke of unleashing vengeance upon the humans who smeared your sister's blood, and the incarnation of Libresca, who destroyed your paradise. Take one step closer to making your dream become reality. You need this power, do you not? This is the final task. Take their blood within this vicious dragon's egg, and you shall restore your shard to its former glory.
Living whilst hidden in the shadows of the Golden Mountain, the dragon Drakania tended to the souls of felled dragons. The time for your vengeance is nigh. Upon the humans who smeared your sister's blood on themselves, and Libresca's incarnation who destroyed your paradise.
Huh? What was that? Oh, well, guess what I found stuck between the pages of the last chapter? I rushed on over to find you. Who was that white-haired granny, and what was it that you fought just now? Ooh, I feel like I've just missed out on the match of the century. Do you know how that feels? Anyway, I need a moment. Need to catch my breath. I found a few more things you just might be interested in, but first I need a breather or I might pass out. Deal? Huh, what brings you here of all places? I had something important I wanted to say to you too. Ah yes, head over to the tavern over there by McLeod Hill. Apparently someone's grandpa's grand. I've lost count. Anyway, I heard some old geezer there blabs on and on about his ancestor who passed down a special tale regarding the dragons every single day. It appears that his tale may be about you. Well, I'll take my leave now. I'm still peeved that I missed out on your incredible match earlier.
Libresca, the tyrant who ruled over the dragonkin with a claw honed tight round their hearts. The other dragons lived in hiding, away from Libresca, beneath the eclipsing shadow of the Golden Mountain. Even after Libresca experienced her first death, losing her wings as penance for challenging the authority of the gods with the eunuchs, The dark age of dragonkind did not wane. The 7 witches born from Lobreska's first death bore the 7 gifts of wisdom to slay dragons. Of those, the most unique power belonged to the 7th witch, Erethia. For hers was the wisdom to erase the fear of dragons.
Come now. If the witches actually bestowed their wisdom to our ancestors, why does everyone here shiver at the mere mention of dragons?
Erethia engaged in the forbidden act of falling in love with a human. Enraged, the other 6 witches reclaimed the wisdom of erasure bestowed unto my ancestors by the 7th. Henceforth, we were forever cursed to be plagued with the fear of dragons. And records say that the 6 witches killed Erethia themselves, stripping her of her own power as well. However, there was something the 6 witches greatly underestimated, and that was the very power of the 7th witch itself. Right before they dealt the finishing blow, she used the last remaining portion of her power to make the other witches forget about that moment, barely escaping with her life. My forefathers of ages past claim that they saw her, less her powers, of course, battered and bruised, captured in the very den of the dragons who still hid beneath the golden mount shadow. She sought out these dragons, hiding in the darkness and doomed to keep their wings furled for eternity. By her hand, countless dragonkind had fallen, and yet, in her wretched state, she walked right into that den, filled with those she had forced into hiding.
That doesn't make sense. Even if she was forsaken by the others, the dragons would have torn her to shreds. Why would she choose such an end?
The forsaken human and witch sought out the god of hope to recover the power and wisdom lost to the 6 witches. That very god told them to bring back the eunuchs from Everfrost, and this choice, discarding her power and authority, her identity as a witch, and even turning her back on those humans she was once so fond of, made all for love. However, the humans who climbed Everfrost in search of the eunuchs found his heart stolen by Lobreska, who was living out her second life, Tut. Having lost all her power, that human was all poor Erethia had left. To have fallen in love with the witch who had been birthed from Lobreska's first death. Only to fall in love with their progenitor who gave birth to that very witch in the first place. Such a sick twist of fate. In the end, the witch chose death, but not in the peaceful manner most desire. She entered that den of dragons by herself, filled with rage, and cried out to them, "Build your paradise upon my body. With my death, I will usher in the ruination of the Golden Mountain." Although she appeared powerless, her past slaughter of countless dragons had filled her heart with their life energies, which would produce the power required to bring the Golden Mountain to ruin, also she claimed. And her heart, overflowing with such mighty strength, required a vessel to bear it all. Apparently my distant ancestor bore witness to that ritual itself. A young dragon chose to tear out one of his eyes, and its pupil, a ravenous hole, swallowed the abandoned witch, Erethia, whole. Time passed, and then a very special being was born. By the eye of Markthanen and the heart of Erethia came the last hope of dragonkind.
Apologies for the interruption. The food supplies of the faithful who serve the brazier of the eunuchs have been tainted. It's the poisons endemic to Shira at work. You there, would you help us hand out fresh food? If we don't tend to the brazier properly, It won't matter how many guardians return. None shall be able to rekindle the embers of the Onyx's holy flame.
Sisters, too long have we searched in vain, fourth paradise of dragons. The 6 witches of Everfrost claimed to have stripped Erythea of her wisdom. The power of oblivion, which could erase the fear of dragons. I have found the very vessel which contains it, the cup of Erythea.
No, it cannot be. Our sacred brazier, Bahitram. Is anyone there? Somebody stop her.
While we succeeded in breaking the barrier which had kept the cup of Erythea hidden for ages. To think that I would fall to the flames of that abominable tyrant's spawn. I pray that she falls by your hand, that you recover the power to incinerate all fear. Then unfurl your wings, long atrophied beneath the shadow of the golden mountain, and take flight. May the one born of the witch's heart, nestled in the dragon's eye, take up my trine, slayer of many dragons, and usher in the lost paradise of dragons.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy my content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I had a great time exploring the tragic yet inspirational story of Drakania's lore in Black Desert, and it has inspired me to create more videos, focusing on the lore in Black Desert Online. If you have any suggestions or feedback, feel free to leave a comment. Until next time, happy adventuring!